What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Amalgam Games Lab. I am your host, Shannon Haegler, and I'm alongside Keena Johnston.
I have a mic. I hope it works.
Let's hope so. This is our show where we talk gaming, games industry, video games, individual things
The
about
only games
games.
we don't talk about are board games.
Maybe one day.
I feel that'll be a different show.
Yeah, totally different thing.
Dean wants to do a D&D podcast. I'm like, fuck, if you run it, yeah, go for it.
Yeah,
That is a nightmare. I do not want to do that.
We should talk, because I have a friend who's a dungeon master.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've played D&D a couple times, but
Yeah,
that's it.
it's kind of fun.
It is. It's real fun, but I just don't want to be writing stories and shit
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that.
No, he's already got one. Anyway, we'll talk about that later. So, first we'll start with the housekeeping. There will be another episode of the Amalgam Show.
Yes.
Yes. It's probably gone up before this one or after. Have you figured out a schedule for this one yet?
I think this one will be kind of ASAP, so hopefully Mondays ASAP or Tuesdays 8 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
And Amalgam Show is 8 a.m. Thursdays.
Cool.
And that's Australian Eastern Time.
Eastern Standard Time, because
I think so,
because we're in Queensland, we don't have daylight savings.
I don't know how daylight works. It's bullshit.
Anyway. So check out the Amalgam Show. Of course, if you have any question for us, please comment below or email us at amalgamshow@gmail.com.
Please.
Like, subscribe, hit the notifications button, and choose always on. There are so many things you have to do now. The first step...
Or you could just save it as a favourite and just come back.
Yeah, that's true. The first step is admitting you have a problem, YouTube. Like, seriously. Anyway, let's dive in, because I guess off the back of last week's spoiler cast for God of War, kind of like missed a week of gaming news, so I think we might...
There wasn't much.
It wasn't much. There was
We're
a
in
couple...
that, like, lull before E3.
Yeah.
Where everything's getting leaked from E3.
Oh boy. So we'll dive straight into some E3 things. I think I wanted to go straight to like the Canada Walmart stuff.
Yeah.
Just because that kind of ties into everyone's E3.
Yeah.
So for those of you who don't know, the Canadian Walmart website had a bunch of product pages go live. Someone hit a button or didn't hit a button, I assume is what happened.
Someone
And
forgot to say schedule or just said...
Yeah. Someone was given a document like, make up these things and get it done by today. Don't put it up, and he didn't hear the don't put it up part.
Yeah.
And then just it all went live. Essentially, it was some like fake box art, and some key art for like a bunch of games that have yet to be released.
Announced, even.
Yeah, well, some of them we knew of. So
Yeah.
like Borderlands 3. Gearbox has been talking about and saying that, like, oh yeah, of course we're going to do another one for years now. But that one was up there. Things like there was a Pokemon Switch one, which obviously
They've announced it, but like, yeah.
we know that's happening. So like, whether that's, and this is the other thing when it comes to retailers, is that we don't really know whether or not this is official stuff that is going to happen at E3, or whether this is the retailer getting ready for it.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the times they'll have product pages for things that are like years in the future. Like you could pre-order Final Fantasy 15 for 10 years. You could pre-order Duke Nukem for 10 years.
When Kingdom Hearts 3 was announced, I was immediately up for pre-order.
It still is.
Yeah.
Like if you walk
that
in...
was in 2013, it's now 2018.
Yeah, if you walk into any game store here in Australia, I don't know about America or Canada or anything like that, but in Australia here, they keep everything really up to date.
Yeah.
So if you walk into anyone and say, like, can I pre-order Kingdom Hearts 3? They'll say yes. They'll have something there ready. They just update it when the time is right. So it's possibly that it's just a bunch of that kind of stuff.
A lot of it seems very estimated guesses, because it's not. It's like Ubisoft's. It's like Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell. There's no subtitle to it, and I feel if they were privy to that information, they would have published it. So it seems like someone is guessing, because just like me, I've got this feeling there's enough evidence pointing towards that there could be one. It seems like someone like you or I, who has this knowledge, just happens to work at Walmart and just like punching in data. I'm like, oh shit, I better get, because like I've done that sort of stuff before, where I've been I worked for a Kingdom Hearts fan site, and they're like, hey, just write up the fact that Kingdom Hearts 3 will be announced, like its release date, just as a news article. Like everything's there except for specific details, like the date, or one of the older collections are being ported to the Xbox One and or Switch.
Yeah.
Like it's just, these are things that are going to happen.
It could be that, or it could...
pre-prepping.
Yeah, it could be that. It could also be, specifically because it's Splinter Cell and it is Ubisoft.
Yeah.
Ubisoft does have a track record of either A, using not the real name, or B, like code names. Things like Assassin's Creed Victory, Assassin's Creed Comet, you know, those Assassin's Creed like subtitles that are completely fake just to throw you off the scent while they're in development. And so I think that it could just as well be that they have given the information to people and just said it's called Splinter Cell.
Yeah, that's the other thing I was thinking. Like, it's called Splinter Cell, which could work. If they God of War it, like,
yeah, they could.
Great. Basically, I just want Metal Gear Solid 5, but
Yeah, it could just be like they call it Splinter Cell to everyone that they're talking to, and then on the day of E3, it's Splinter Cell. Add in the subtitle there. That's the big surprise, is what the subtitle is, because it gives you some sort of like detail on what the game's story is or something like that. But we'll see how that goes. There was also another Assassin's Creed on there, which I actually think is part of the thing that might discredit this whole thing, is that after taking a year off, they did really well with Origins. I don't see why they would then go back to annualizing it.
And usually it would be announced by now. Or leaked at the very least.
Yeah.
We've never gotten this close.
And the other thing is, I thought we were possibly getting into a pattern where it was going to be like Assassin's Creed and then Watch Dogs. And was Watch Dogs 3 on that leak? I don't think it was.
I am not sure. Let's click the link, everybody. Fuck.
Oh, that worked.
Let's find out. There we go. Okay. Sorry if I blew your ear out.
Apologies to our listeners with headphones.
We are scrolling. We are wasting time. Oh my god. Sometimes browser stuff doesn't work on mobile.
No,
we haven't fixed that
a lot of the time.
So we've got, basically the list is, fuck you, Division 2.
Which we knew about.
Yeah. Splinter Cell Insurgency, which I haven't heard of, but that could be anything. Last of Us 2, Just Cause 4, that's another one, where people are thinking, maybe, like, Avalanche isn't doing anything, they haven't done anything since...
It makes sense, and isn't Avalanche like a Square Enix thing now?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, and they're doing a press conference this year.
Yeah.
Why not?
That's the thing, they've got stuff to announce. Destiny Comet, which will be the new big expansion. Comet,
yeah, wasn't that the same code name they used for Taken King? Yeah.
Yeah, Comet is like. Do you remember in the lawsuit, Bungie had to reveal their like for 10-year plan of Destiny?
Yeah.
It was always, I forget what Destiny was called, but Comet was the expansion, the big expansion name. So it was Comet, like Destiny Comet 2, Destiny Comet, that kind of stuff.
Right.
And it was just they'd alternate.
Yeah.
So it's all, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Metroid Prime, that should be 4. 2K19, that's...
NBA, yeah, like the sports stuff is of no consequence because we know that that's going to happen every single year.
What if they don't?
That's just how they work. If they don't, then you know that company is going under because there is no reason for it to not happen anymore.
Yeah. Assassin's Creed Origin Ace Helix, or is that something that's already been announced?
Ace Helix. Well, that just sounds like that looks, and because this is Origins, that sounds like either an expansion or like a Game of the Year edition.
Yeah.
Which makes...
Borderlands 3, which, something that could happen.
Yep.
DC Lego Villains, which...
makes sense.
Yeah. There hasn't been a Lego game in a while, has there?
There has.
Avengers 2, or...
Yeah, Lego Lego Marvel Superheroes 2, which was like this time last year.
Yeah.
Or something. No, it was like November, December, or something. They have... so they were supposed to have, I can't remember which one it was, but I think it might have been Lego Marvel Avengers, or Lego Star Wars The Force Awakens, maybe it was that one, where the Lego company was like, oh, this will be our last Lego game. And then they've made like 3 since then. Yeah.
It's never going to be that.
Because they were like, oh yeah, we're going to put it all into Dimensions, that Toys to Life bullshit.
Which is apparently a fun game, but just Toys to Life was always had a short window.
Oh yeah, absolutely, because there's a certain point people don't want toys.
Rage 2 coming out of nowhere.
Yeah, sure. Why not? I mean, it's Bethesda. I mean, like, at the end of the day, Bethesda has been knocking it out of the park for several years in a row now. They've had Skyrim, which kind of really brought them to the forefront.
I think that's what given them the money to become a good publisher house.
Like, every year there's a Skyrim released on a new platform of some description. They have been able to do that for going on 10 years. Like, it's been 7 or 8 years Skyrim was end of 2011, so 7 years now of Skyrim just giving them money.
Yeah.
So that really brought them to the forefront of everyone's mind. Since then, they've done things like Fallout 3.
Fallout 3 was before.
Fallout 4 was where I was going with that.
Elder Scrolls Online.
Yeah, Fallout 4, Elder
worked
Scrolls
out in the
Online. You've got the Doom remake.
There's Dishonored games, which aren't big, but people love them. I
Yeah,
love them.
Dishonored, Prey, and now the Wolfenstein stuff as well.
Yeah.
So like they really have, they've given themselves the ability to have this large portfolio which they wouldn't have had. And it doesn't surprise me that a company like Bethesda would look at a property like Rage from their past and go, wonder if we can do that one again.
Yeah.
And do it better.
Because, like, from everything I understand about it, it was made on, like, an id Tech engine, which is always good, or great, one of the best engines. But it was just a game around it. It was kind of like we made everything, and made it look cool, with an open world game running at 60 frames per second. We just forgot to make it fun.
Yeah, it was the id Tech engine. Like, even the mechanics were actually pretty good. It was just the story and the world were like, ugh, who cares?
Yeah, and it came out the same year as Skyrim, didn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
It was like a couple months earlier, but still. Like...
Yeah, I mean, it was a good-looking game and it worked, and it was specifically, like, it was a good showpiece. It showed, like, what those consoles were capable of at the time.
Yeah.
And towards the back end of the 360 PS3 life cycle was, really good.
Yeah.
And again, it was weird when I had a lot of people being like, Rage 2. I'm like, at the end of the day, didn't we all have the same reaction when Prey was finally a thing?
Yeah.
Because, like, there was Prey, and then there was the Prey 2, the infamous Prey 2, which never happened and never materialized, then got canned, then got redone, then got turned into Prey again.
Yeah.
It's like, they've shown that they've got a history of this, of, like, let's take this thing that's dead and dying and bring it back up.
Well, that's it.
Yeah, and those kind of the big ones. And I think the big story kind of coming out of this is just how much it's... I think for a lot of people who kept... Like, for the most part, people who just tune into E3 and not much else are not going to worry about this. But for people like us who actually... who delve into following the games industry, or for, journalists and things like that, it's kind of put a dampener on the whole E3 buzz thing. It's kind of like, oh, well... It's kind of cool to see all these things leak, but now it's like, well, a lot of the big surprises coming out of E3 are already known.
Yeah.
It's still going to be a surprise to, like, depending on what these are, like, what do you see... What, if any of those games have gameplay? What of them have cinematic trailers? What of them are just concept arts? Which of them have release dates for, like, this year, next year?
Yeah.
Like... There's always a possibility when you're looking at stuff like specifically Rage 2 and Borderlands 3, where you've got a company who's been doing very little else in the meantime, could quite possibly come out and be like, yo, Borderlands 3 drops in October.
Yeah. They could do a Fallout.
Yeah.
Like Fallout 4, rather.
Like, smoke bomb, moonwalk off stage.
It's going to be packed because no one wants to release in November. Call of Duty's not releasing in November.
Well, yeah, no one wants to release after October. Because I think that it's the September window. September's wide open.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Like, Forza... Oh, that was that funny typo as well that said Forza Horizon 5.
Skipping forward.
Yeah.
Windows.
Yeah, why not? But, like, yeah, like, Forza's usually the September window. The Destiny expansion will be in September, but I don't know how much that's going to move this time around.
Yeah.
Because it feels like
Interesting.
For Destiny 1, the launch around it was unstable,
Yeah.
I guess would be a word for it. I don't know. Like, it was like, it sold well, it did well, everyone was playing it, but about a week after, everyone had done everything. Then they dropped the raid, and everyone did the raid, and then that was really cool. It was like, holy shit, like, this is what Destiny can do, but that was it.
That sounds exactly like what happened with this second game.
Yeah, but it was a little bit different, because then the tail dropped off.
Yeah.
But then their first expansion hit, and everyone kind of went back to it, and there was a second raid in the expansion. I was like, okay, there's more content and stuff to do. All right, cool.
And then building up mechanics and just stuff
yeah,
like that.
and just kind of like giving you more stuff. And then the second expansion drops, and even I went back and played that one, and that was cool. And you're like, oh, okay, all right. And like, there was still this sort of buzz around Destiny, even though it was, critically panned and people didn't really like it off the launch. Yeah. There was this buzz around it.
Peter
and then
Dinklage wasn't great.
No, and then they start work on the Taken King. They replace Peter Dinklage with Nolan North.
Because why not?
They make the right decision.
I don't think, just a quick tangent, Peter Dinklage can voice act.
I think he can. I just think he didn't care.
Yeah. Well,
Actually,
even in spoilers for Avengers: Infinity War, even though his name's already been revealed, he's in that, and I don't think he gives a good voice actor because he does the deep dumb voice, like the same thing that Chris Pratt was doing around Thor, and it's the same thing. It's like he just doing a voice.
Yeah, I think he can, because if you watch Game of Thrones, he has a varied voice. And he has a very good voice. He's a very classical voice. I think the problem with Destiny would have been twofold. Is that one, I don't think he gave a fuck.
No.
Because I don't know if he plays video games or not, and even if he does, like, what does he matter?
Yeah.
And two, if you've heard all of the problems that were around Destiny and its lead up to launch and all that kind of stuff, I'll bet his voice direction was just a shit show.
Yeah.
I'll bet you it was exactly opposite of what the people want. The Nolan North one is much more of like there's a clear direction in that. Like this, you could imagine our voice director telling Nolan North like a clear, like, this is what we want this robot to sound like and be like.
Yeah.
Go. And because he's an amazing voice actor, was able to do it. Peter Dinklage, it sounds like they were just like, here, just fucking read these lines and just get the fuck out, because we're paying you a fuck ton of money and we don't know what we're doing anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, but the thing is, when they did that, all that reset sort of stuff going into the Taken King, there was this buzz. Taken King was amazing. It was a very good expansion, and that kind of lifted Destiny, like everyone's spirits on Destiny for a little bit. Then there was nothing for a year, and then Rise of Iron comes out, and it's like, okay, I didn't even play it. Like people just bleh on it, and then they do no major expansions again for a year. They do small live content updates here and there. Sparrow racing was fun. I jumped back in for 2 weeks to do sparrow races. But they do some touches to multiplayer, different events, all that kind of stuff. They've got a live team off the back of Taken King, so now there's more public stuff happening. But it just kind of dwindled, and then Destiny 2 comes around, then everyone goes, okay, alright, like, you've had 3 years to sort this shit out. This is the time, bring it up. And they do. They launch Destiny 2. It's really good. Like, the game that they release is really good. They found a way to reset yourself, give it story, reasoning. Yeah. And then also tie into that, like, a new set of mechanics, a new set of powers and abilities, and new weapons, and a new villain, and all this kind of stuff, and it goes really well. And then you do the raid, and then there's nothing. And then they just dropped the expansion recently, and I haven't touched that yet either.
Yeah, I haven't heard too many people doing that.
I mean, they dropped the. This is what they always do. They drop one expansion before December, like in December, and the next one's later on. Yeah. And like, there hasn't been there's been what do they call raid layers? They haven't released a second raid, but they add more layers to the current raid. Or different things to, like, because like the raid in Destiny 2 takes place in like this different map, like a different area that nowhere else is, and it's this palace.
Yeah. And
you go in, and when you do the raid the first time, it's essentially the story of the raid is like you're going in to take out the king of the palace. His name is Callus, I think. And you go in, and you're like fighting through different wings of the palace, and each wing has got its own sort of, gimmick behind it. Yeah. Like, this one's the stealth one, and this one's the arena horde, and this one's the da-da-da, and you go through all the different bits and figure out the puzzles and all that kind of stuff until you get to the throne room, and then you kill the bastard, and that's the end of the raid. And then, ever since then, they've done this twice now, once in the last expansion, I think once in this one, where they add in, like, it's not a full raid, but you go back to the raid palace, you go through the doors and through the entrance, and then when you go to this place, there's a new area that's opened up, and you do that, and then you get some loot. Yeah. And it's like not really a full raid, but the mechanics in that are like, and it just, they haven't really done anything. So I would be surprised if the Destiny expansion this year, I mean, it's going to sell well, because it will, because it's Destiny, but I'll be surprised if the reaction off of it will be like anything other than like an inconsequential shrug. Yeah. Like, whatever they do, be like, oh, alright, cool, like, I'll check it out. But if it's, like, that one, because it'll probably be on Sony's press conference stage, because they have the deal with Destiny. And I feel like the reaction off of that is everyone going to be like, I'll play it, And if it's really good, then the word of mouth will make it good.
Yeah.
But nothing they show is going to make people go, yeah.
Yeah, no, it definitely...
Like, it's done.
That month before, everyone does the preview event, and then just like, hey, they fixed everything great. Or, fuck, we're back at Mars, no one wants to go back to Mars.
Yeah, like, that's what it's going to be.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like, I think I really want to see Borderlands 3.
That's the thing, like, we know some of these... If all this is correct, we know these games are coming. What's Borderlands 3 going to look like? Like, we haven't had a current-gen Borderlands game, and those, like, cell shading's pretty. What's it going to look like if they spent, like, 3-4 years on it? Like, the game's going to look gorgeous.
I think it is, yeah. I think it's going to look great. I hope they stick to the art style.
Oh, like, they should.
They'll
Otherwise,
have
it's
to.
not Borderlands.
Because I think that art style, those colours in HDR... Oh.
This game has the potential to look gorgeous. Like, yeah, no, it's...
This game has the potential to be one of the best looking games of all time.
Yeah.
Like, full stop.
Yeah.
But, you know, that depends, like... Because, honestly, like, Borderlands 1's a bit brown.
Yeah, because it's the brown years.
Yeah. But it's, you know, it still looks good and it's still a little bit
Yeah.
colourful in places, but for the most part it's very brown. Borderlands 2 is like a departure from that. There's spots where it's very colourful and very bright. I hope they lean into that more.
I think now that we're out of the brown years,
I think we're only just getting out of the brown years, though.
I think mostly, like, this generation has been, like, mostly out of the brown years because we actually have more technology to actually render more colours. Like, not that we couldn't, it's just, like, to make it look the best, it has to look brown. Now
I feel like everything still feels brown, though. Like, God of War feels, not brown, I think grey is more of the colour of this generation. Where everything feels...
Or blue.
Yeah, like, everything feels muted.
Yeah.
Like, it's not the... Like, last generation, the way we made things look real was making them look brown.
Yeah.
This generation, we make things look real by making them look real.
Yeah.
So everything's got this blue or grey sort of saturation over the top of it. Like, I think that's God of War has this kind of... Like, it's very colourful and very pretty, but it's also got this grey overtone over it. And I think that's come off the back of The Last of Us being, like, the thing that everyone put up as, like, this is the best looking game ever. So Last of Us having that sort of grey overtone. Like, all of Sony's first party kind of have the same.
Yeah.
That kind of over it. Apart from maybe Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yeah, which is why I say blue for Horizon.
Yeah.
And even Detroit is very blue.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah. Anything else about Walmart leaking shit?
Someone got fired. I'll guarantee you that.
Oh,
Someone's
just
got fired.
fucking just berated.
Yeah,
Lost a week's
some
pay.
poor IT bastard. And I mean, at least it's Canada, so you know he's not going to get treated too badly. If it was the US, I would have said he's on
Walmart, which
yeah,
isn't the best, but
it's still Canada, so there's like laws in place and shit. He's not on the street begging at this point, but dude got ripped a new one, absolutely. One of the things that I think was interesting off of the back of that was kind of like in succession. I don't know what happened first, whether it was the Walmart leak
it was
or
Walmart first.
Walmart was first, because then Sony came out and talked about like what their E3 is going to look like.
Yeah.
And like essentially it is 4 games that we already knew were going to happen. It's Spider-Man, Last of Us 2, Ghost of Tsushima, and Death Stranding.
Yes.
That's what they're focusing on. That's it. Now,
I don't think that's it. Like, those are
No.
the big tentpoles.
that's what they said that the bulk of the press
Yeah.
conference is going to be. They did say that they're still going to give time to indies and other things and all that kind of stuff.
If they give time to indies, that'll be the first time in ages.
No, they always have their little indie...
It's just like a whoosh, you never know what the things are, because they're all unnamed.
Yeah,
and just like,
yeah, but that's the way Sony's always done it though.
It's not
Is that
good.
like they do like their Devolver Digital section and they're just
I
like
love Devolver's press conference.
yeah, but like that's what they've done it in all these years. Is they make. I actually think it's better for that.
Yeah.
In
It'd
my
be good if they had at least a name in the corner, so you could
they
actually.
usually
like,
do.
They, not usually. I think like last year's when they started, or last year PSX.
Okay.
But usually it's just like, oh, I like the look of that game. Have no idea what it's called.
No, because I remember seeing like a lot of their montages and they have like the name of it in the bottom corner. And like the thing is though, I usually watch the press conferences with someone else's overlay over it, so I can't read it anyway. But I actually think that's better for the most part because indie games tend to be either one-note mechanics or like an interesting mechanic, not one note, but an interesting mechanic, that's their gimmick.
Yeah.
And the art style is something that someone else has done, or it's an interesting art style, but they also tend to be shorter in length.
Yeah.
And so, like, I think giving them 15 minutes at a press conference is a bad idea.
Oh no, that's
because
I'm okay with the montage. It's just like clarity of what they are is what I'm after.
yeah, and I mean, they'll get better at it because honestly, Sony's never really like this generation is the generation where indies have come to the consoles.
Yeah.
So, like, they're still figuring this shit out.
Yeah.
Xbox has got their ID at Xbox program, which works well for them. But also, you know, Chris Charla coming out for 10 minutes and talking bores the shit out of me. Like, I like his enthusiasm, but, you know, he announces, like, 2 games, and then the rest of it's a montage anyway.
Yeah.
And, like, Sony just hitting the play button, I think, is better.
Yeah. And, like, I like that Sony has PSX for their smaller stuff.
Yeah.
Like, to have, like, what's his chops? I forget his name, but he always comes out with a Vita. He's like, these are the 3 games coming to the Vita. Like, we love you. I forget his name. I can't remember. It's like on the tip of my brain. Can't think of it.
What's he look like?
Bigger guy. Kind of look like Kevin Smith. Has a Vita. I can't think. It's like, it's a name. It's a good name.
Is it Adam Boyes?
No, not Adam Boyes. He's like, he's like lower level than Adam Boyes.
Okay.
He's like, doesn't wear a suit.
Yeah, don't know who it is.
I can't think of it. Yeah. It always just keeps getting there. But anyway, you know.
But they're going to have their four tentpoles. Now, with those tentpoles, Last of Us 2, Doi, of course, absolutely, that thing's going to... It feels weird because I feel like... Because since they announced it, everyone's kind of, like, jaded on it now, where... Because it's a known entity and a known quantity, it's like, of course, The Last of Us 2. Like, we don't, like... I feel like people don't want to see anything from it anymore. They just want to fucking play it. Like, shut up about it, just give it to me.
That's the thing. That's why I'm annoyed that Death Stranding and Last of Us are here, because, like, they announced those games too early. Like, I get why they did Death Stranding to make a statement, but Last of Us, you didn't have to announce it that early. And they should have just left it. But they don't. They keep bringing it back to, like, nearly every conference. And we're like, we don't need to see any more of this stuff. And I'm just like... We need to, for that last 6 months, and then... start marketing it. Like,
Last of Us, I agree with. I think it's weird to have Spider-Man in there so soon to its release. Like, it's released September or something.
Yeah, Spider-Man makes sense. Just like,
it makes sense to have it
the
there.
Final push. It's Spider-Man. Like, we have to see some actual gameplay sessions.
We saw it last year. They gave us a full gameplay last year.
Yeah.
We saw the Batman-like combat and the web slinging and all that kind of stuff. Like, I don't know what else they can show me. Like,
it's
unless
a cool boss fight, maybe.
But unless it's like a 15-minute like swinging montage. Like, but the swinging looked fine. Like, there's nothing else I need to see from Spider-Man. Just release the fucking game.
Unless it's like more Peter stuff. But that doesn't really work well on an E3 stage.
Yeah, but that's the interesting thing about this lineup is that, like, Last of Us 2, they've shown it to us twice.
Yes.
We've gotten 2 different trailers for that thing. One
was the reveal trailer with Ellie and the guitar. The second one was
the
brutal
fucking that trailer. Yes, we've seen it twice. They can give us another third. Like, they can give us a... Here's how The Last of Us 1 should go. Don't know if this is going to happen because it's Sony, so who knows. Yeah. But the way The Last of Us 1 should go is long-ass story trailer. Long story trailer.
Like, how long are you thinking? Like 5 minutes? 7 minutes? 2 minutes?
Like, 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Like God of War length. Like, where it's just kind of story. Long story trailer with a good, solid hook at the end that isn't so... Like, because, like, the thing with the last trailer was that a lot of people are like, oh my god, it's so amazing. And I'm like, well, it was brutal.
Yeah.
But it told me sweet fuck all about that game.
He said nothing. He said this game's going to be brutal. It's just
it's
going to be...
Because I had a friend of mine, like, not a work acquaintance. Yeah. He's a good mate, but like, like he's a
guys.
Yeah, he's just like, and he was like, did you see the Last of Us trailer? And I was like, yeah, it was fine, I guess. And he was like, oh, don't tell me you're one of those SJWs. And like, okay, look, I get it. Like, there were a lot of people on the internet who are very angry about the violence against women thing, but the thing is also women were super badass in that trailer. Yeah. Like, they were the ones doing all the fucking murdering.
Yeah.
It was a rough trailer to watch, and I sat him, like, basically said, like, look, man, look, I got no problem with violence in video games. I got no problem with that kind of brutality being shown, especially now that we can do it with that fidelity. Yeah. Fucking go for it. My issue is that particular trailer told me nothing. Yeah. Like, that violence had 0 point to it.
Yeah.
Because it was just, she was getting hanged for some reason, then she escaped, and in the middle of the escape, someone got their elbow bashed in with a hammer.
Yeah.
And then they cut her down for some reason, and then they all kind of team up for some reason, and then there's things in the background. Don't know what those things are, Cut to black.
Yeah.
Last of Us 2. Like, what does that even mean?
Yeah, no,
Like,
this theme seems like we're just as dark, we're just as mature, but like we need to put something out. Like it shows us we're not always going to stick with Ellie. But there's
maybe
another point
I don't know.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't know. But the other part is I can't think of it right now. Yeah, I feel this will make way more sense in the game.
Absolutely.
Like, when we get to this part, we're like, oh shit.
But the thing is, it wasn't like the... Oh, God, I feel like we're always talking about it. The fever dream's not over yet. But it wasn't like the God of War trailer. The God of War reveal trailer told me nothing about the game, really. But it very clearly illustrated new mechanic, like new battle style, new camera. There's a son. You're the dad. That was enough story for me to be like, oh, okay, look, I'm interested in this game. Tell me more.
Yeah.
And I was happy to see another trailer. The Last of Us trailer, I like I said, I don't want to see any more of it. Just either release the game or give me a proper story trailer that tells me what the fuck is going on in this game.
They need to do what God of War did, is do that 2016 E3 trailer, like gameplay thing, where it's just like, this is the game's elements of the story that you'll be getting, and then stop it. We didn't hear about God of War for ages. Like, it wasn't an E3 2017, I'm pretty sure.
No, it was.
It was? It must have been in like a very small
It was,
capacity.
but it was a really short trailer.
Yeah.
It was a montage, like it was a... They had the music, the and it was just like a really short, like, quick montage of different, like, combat scenarios, like him killing a troll, him killing a couple of Draugr, all that kind of stuff, and it ended with the scene with the World Serpent.
Yeah.
And that was it. You're like, oh shit, fuck, World Serpent, holy hell!
Yeah.
Like, that was all you needed.
Yeah.
Because at that point, you knew what the story kind of was.
Yeah.
You knew what the mechanics were going to be. So just having a hype trailer was
Yeah.
all you needed.
And I think that's what they should do for this. It's just like...
It needs to be a story trailer, like a proper story trailer.
And then next year we can get the hype trailer.
No, I did... Even at this point, because we've gotten 2 hype trailers already.
True.
That's essentially what they are. True. It needs to be a long story trailer with a good narrative hook at the end that makes me go, I want to see what the rest of this is. Yeah. And then you need to drop a release date. Because they have to.
They're not going to.
For me, they have to, because I am kind of annoyed at Last of Us now, like with what they're doing with it. So like drop a release date, even if it's just a release window. Like give me 2019.
I think that's as much as you're gonna get.
I'm happy with that. I'm happy with it. Like okay, it's next year sometime. Cool, because once I have an idea of that, then I can fucking forget about it. Like it doesn't become an issue until that date is upon us.
Yeah.
Right now, it's the looming specter on Sony is when Last of Us 2 is going to happen.
We all know it's 2020. It's going to be 2019 or 2020. Like, just going to do what Last of Us 1
there are
did.
dumb people out there that are like, it's going to be in 2018.
No, I mean, that's... Yeah, okay, just shut those people up, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
They're the people who don't... They're the Nathaniels and Deans of the world, which is why we make this podcast. It's just... They're the uneducated. And not, like, for the lack of, like... It's just... They're kind of used to how every other bit of content work, which is not video games. It's like, you announce a thing... 18 months later, it's out. Video games, fuck, we waited...
We waited 10 years for Duke Nukem, we waited 10 years for Final Fantasy.
Like 10 years for...
We're still waiting
Last
for
Guardian.
Final Fantasy 7. We waited 10 years for Last Guardian. We're still waiting for Beyond Good and Evil 2.
Yeah.
That was on that list too, wasn't it?
Oh,
I'm pretty sure it was.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it's already on listings.
Yeah.
Like, you can go to EB and
Stupid.
pre-order it.
So yeah, Last of Us, I feel like story trailer, release window or date, that's all I need, and then I'm happy with what they do. Spider-Man, I don't know what they do. I guess a gameplay trailer, like a proper in-depth 20-minute...
It'll reveal that third costume that's been, like, ticking off.
Yeah,
We have, like, Punk Spider-Man, Infinity War Spider-Man, and then, I don't know, Pajama Spider-Man.
Maybe another one, because last year they kind of fucked up the stream with, like, the reveal of Miles Morales at the end of it. Maybe they do a bit more with him in it, maybe a story trailer with that. That might be nice. Cool.
The one I am interested most in is Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah, buddy.
Because I've been, itching, like, I've been thinking about it lately, I'm like, I want more Infamous. I'm like, fuck, they're not making Infamous, they're making Ghost of Tsushima.
No, but they are making something that looks so fucking cool.
I am excited to finally see what that actually looks like. And where it's going to, like, fall on the release.
Because I really hope that this is exactly... Like, I really hope that this is the Uncharted, Horizon, God of War. I hope that this is the one that they're looking at. Because I feel like Last of Us has become its own weird sort of entity unto itself, not really within the Sony banner. It's kind of like its own thing now.
It's a Naughty Dog thing.
Yeah, but I kind of hope that because they've similarly done what they've done with the others, which is last year they gave, like a couple of years ago, they gave us that tease trailer, which was really cool. And then I hope we get gameplay this year.
We should. If they are going to show it off this time and make it a big focus, it needs to have gameplay.
I hope we get gameplay with a bit more story, and then release date next year. Hell, drop it this year. Fucking do it.
I would love it, but I don't think they are going to. 'Cause
I think that might be the thing that will take the March, April, May slot for next year.
There's so many things that could take the March, April, May, because we have Days Gone, which is definite 2019.
This is the thing, though. It's not definite 2019.
They've said 2019. That's what they've said. That's it.
Yeah.
To confirm that it's not 2018. That's all it is.
Again, games companies say years all the time.
True.
The thing with Days Gone is that it was positioned over the last couple of years as the next one in that lineage.
Yeah.
It was the one that they were like, this is our next thing. They didn't mention it in here.
I think it's because they're getting it out of the way this month with the games Spot. GameSpot. No, Game Informer. Fuck, too many games.
Yep.
Games Lab. Yeah.
GameSpot owns Game Informer, so you know it's fine. Well, GameStop owns Game Informer.
Yes, Game Informer has the big exclusive over the month, and you'll have content through that this month with Days Gone. So, I think they're getting that out of the way so that they can focus.
I think they've realised that game's not really that good.
That's the thing. People have gone to preview events like, this game's interesting.
In what way? I need to know.
That's the thing. Like, it's only been behind closed doors, and just like the weather system's cool. The way you can play it looks.
Every
good.
trailer I've seen of that, I've been like, "Hey, it looks pretty, but it looks boring as fuck. It looks like I'm never going to touch this game." But that's fine. I'm really interested in that was the thing. I was interested was these four that they picked, because like Spider-Man's very soon. I feel like The Last of Us and Ghost of Tsushima are somewhere in that middle range. I feel like Death Stranding's a fever dream that's never going to happen.
That is going to be a cross-gen game.
Oh man, okay, so here, I was actually going to say, here's where I disagree with you. I am fine with them doing the announcement of Death Stranding so early. Absolutely fine with it. Because the thing with Hideo Kojima is that part of his game is the build-up to the game.
Yeah.
And so I'm fine with just getting weird, dumb, octopus tank trailers for the next 10 years if it takes. Because it's just, every time you see a Death Stranding thing, it's just the weirdest, most psychologically crazy thing, and you're just sitting there piecing it together, the baby in the esophagus, the weird clicky robots.
Mads Mikkelsen.
Yeah, Mads Mikkelsen's there for some reason, Guillermo del Toro's there as well, like, he's a mentalist, and I love it. Yeah. I can't wait for him to show us what else. I think it'd be great if we got gameplay for that game.
That's the thing, I was going to ask, do you think, like, what if we got gameplay?
No, not a chance.
But, like, say...
They found the engine, like, a year ago.
It's Horizon's engine, so it's a pretty good engine.
That's
to
true.
Start making it.
It's true. Fuck.
Like, what if they showed gameplay? Like,
if they showed gameplay, I don't know.
I think the internet would break. Like, holy shit, they're either gonna love it or hate it, or still, what the fuck is this?
I don't think it matters. Like, I don't think what the matter. Honestly, at this point, I don't think it could be a turn-based RPG for anyone cares. Because I think
could be Final Fantasy 16.
Yeah, because it's the story that Hideo Kojima's going to tell that is going to get everyone hooked. It's that world that he's created.
I think it'll also be gameplay, because he's always been king of, like, for him, stealth gameplay. And even Metal Gear Solid 5 is a beautiful open world game. And
but he didn't say it was going to be a stealth game.
I'm not saying it's a stealth game, but I'm saying he's really good at gameplay. All the Metal Gear games were like pinnacle stealth games. Like, nothing could beat them. Splinter Cell was the closest.
I would love if it was an action game that just showed everyone else how to do it.
What type of action game?
Just an action game. Like, just go back to like a character action game or something like that. But it won't be. It'll be like a first person stealth or action RPG or.
What if it's everything?
It probably is gonna be like it's gonna be like every game. Like
there's an NES game that was everything, or Super Nintendo game that was like everything. It was like a turn based game. It was like a God game.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it is, but yeah. What if it's just that?
Well, I think it's gonna be like every other open world game now, where it will literally take from every piece it can get. Yeah. The thing that we're gonna probably the biggest thing that's gonna be a question mark is like, what's the camera perspective? Am I going to see Norman Reedus the whole time, or am I playing in first person?
Yeah.
Also, am I playing as Norman Reedus?
Or am I playing
It's
as
Mads
Mads
Mikkelsen.
What if I'm playing as Hideo Kojima?
What if I'm the baby? Like, here's the questions that we need to answer.
And they're not going to be answered in 2018.
No, not a fucking chance. And that's the best thing about it. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I have no problem with Kojima being crazy and doing that. Last of Us does bug me for reasons that are different. If they do another 15-minute music video this year for Death Stranding, and I get more pieces of the puzzle of the weird baby floating men, dead whales, octopus tank, red eyes, I'm cool with it.
Yeah.
Like, the thing that I love about it is that of the, like, they said that there were 4 games they're focusing on, and that's one of them, which means it's going to get plenty of time, which means I don't care. Like, this might be the press conference that I'm like, fuck it, I'm going to stay up for it or whatever, just to see what the fuck happens.
Sony's usually at like 11 o'clock in the morning, so they're pretty good.
Yeah. Like, we'll have to...
Hopefully not.
What are they, like 11 on a Monday?
Oh, who knows, because they keep changing the fucking thing. Hopefully it's in this article that we can check out. Oh, fuck, this article's broken. Thanks, iPad. Fuck you. Who's to say? Ah, here we go.
6 p.m. Pacific on June the 11th.
What date is that?
Now, let's take a look.
What is the 11th? Because that'll be the 12th here. Which is in 1 month. Holy shit. E3 is less than a month away.
It'll be Tuesday.
That's a Tuesday here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's usually a Tuesday. Yeah,
So, yeah, I'll probably be working.
Fuck.
Oh, well. That means I'll just watch it in my lunch break. Because the press conference is usually about an hour, so I'll just watch it in my lunch break.
Yeah.
That'll be fine. Actually, and that'll probably be one of the days where my lunch will be at 11, so I might even get to see it live. Who knows? Either way, I'm really looking forward to that one.
Yeah, no, it'll be... Sony has been killing it. I have a feeling this is the year where they won't kill it. They'll do good stuff with it, but they
It'll
won't
just be
kill
fine. It'll just be fine.
They'll like shoot it in the leg.
Yeah. Well, because this was the thing, was that... What year was it? 2016? 2016?
That was the year crash.
2015.
2015 was also good.
2015 was the year where I remember coming out of that and everyone was like, Xbox won that press conference. They fucking won, because that was the year they announced backwards compatibility.
There was like...
And it was
I remember, that year was like, they did a lot of stuff. They announced interesting stuff where Sony did the breakneck thing, and it was more of a repeat, I think, of the previous year, or... Maybe 2016.
Well, there was a couple,
repeat,
but there was a couple of things in there that were different.
Yeah.
And it was like, for the most part, they just announced, like, Sony just announced games, threw up some bits and pieces and some stats, and it was fine. But then it was like, no, Xbox won that press conference, and like half the games that they announced there fucking died in development.
True.
And ever since then, like, every year, Xbox does a killer press conference.
They do. Like,
they make it, like, Phil Spencer has done a world of good for that company, and they announce awesome things, like last year's press conference, where they announced, like, the backwards compatibility for original Xbox, where they launched the Xbox One and X, and you're like, man, they knocked that press conference out of the park. And Sony's was fine. But when it came to the actual games... Like, Sony doesn't need to do the big press conference anymore because they just release a game and go, here. Oh, by the way, God of War is the fastest selling game ever. Like, yeah, like, fuck off.
Yeah.
And that, like, don't take that, like, don't... The fastest selling game ever on PS4 is not, like, it's not... Sometimes you get those marketing statements that are like, oh, we've taken the right combination of words to make it sound awesome, but it's not. That's actually a really awesome stat. Because that includes, like, when they say on PS4, that includes games like GTA 5, which are sold on the PS4.
The verbiage is fastest selling exclusive.
Exclusive? I don't think so. Because it's 3.1 million units
in 3 days.
3 days. I don't think GTA sold that much.
I don't know. It made a lot.
It made a lot. It was a lot. It made $1 billion in its first year or something.
Like that, yeah. Before GTA Online, fuck.
Well, it was the as far as I know, it was the first. Maybe it was opening week.
I remember its opening numbers, like we're doing better than like movies.
Yeah, it was essentially.
That's also because it's $60 a pop.
Yeah, but they did make a specific thing of saying that it was like the first entertainment thing to break the $1 billion mark as quickly as it did.
Yeah,
like it beat all movies that have like no movie I don't think has ever made $1 billion.
Yeah, heaps of movies made $1 billion.
Are you sure?
Yeah,
I thought
Avengers just did it.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We have Avengers, not Avengers.
Well, the thing is,
Avatar and Titanic and
Avatar,
Star Wars
yes.
are at $2 billion.
right.
They're the
okay.
only 3 movies to be $2 billion.
Right. Then what was the stat I was looking at? Maybe it was just fastest to reach $1 billion.
Fastest entertainment property to reach $1 billion.
Billion, yes. I think that was the GTA thing.
Yeah,
Because like those other ones did make $1 billion, but it takes time. Because once movies get out of the cinema, then it takes a while for all the other revenue to come in. And Avatar made money for ages, but it took a while.
Yeah.
And it was shown in cinemas for a long
And
time.
they repeated them, that's why it's
Yeah.
number 1. And
Yeah.
same with Titanic.
Yeah, and so like that's crazy, but even when you look at like PS4 exclusives over the years, and you look at it comparatively, like still 3.1 million units in 3 days.
Yeah.
That is a crazy amount of game.
Yeah.
And that is just something that...
And that's sold, not shipped. Like...
Yep. And that is something Sony has become accustomed to now, because they release their exclusive and it's just the best game on the market.
Yeah.
Like, just instantly. Just like, oh, okay, cool. And
that's why I bought PlayStation at the start of this generation.
well, I bought it at the start of this generation not because I thought it was going to be better, or just because of some sort of weird brand loyalty, because I've always had a Sony.
Same. I just like the IPs attached to it. I'm not a fan of Microsoft IPs for the most part.
I mean, I like Halo and Gears of War is fine, and Fable was an interesting thing, so like I really want to play those. But like for the most part, I've just always stuck with PlayStation. So when it came to the PS4, the Xbox One, and also the Xbox One just marketed itself into a hole at the start. So every time I heard like comparisons and things online of like Xbox One versus PS4, every time I heard one, I was like, well, the PS4 is sounding better and better every 10 seconds. So I just went with that one. Also because
boys show how you shoot a video like how to share a
game.
That's it.
Oh,
I love
man.
2013's press conference. It's
Just
so
like
good.
taking the knife and then just twisting it. Just that
$100
little
cheaper.
bit. Yeah.
The fucking... And that was the year, like 2013 was also where they announced Versus 13 to be Final Fantasy 15.
Yeah.
Like that logo change. I'm like, fuck! And then immediately next was Kingdom Hearts 3's announcement.
Yeah.
So 2013 is the best year, in my opinion.
To be fair to... when it comes to the PlayStation and the Xbox, here in Australia, the price difference was negligible.
Was it? I thought it was still $100 difference.
It might have been, but either way, both consoles were over $500 when they launched. So like, like when you look at the pricing for the consoles in America, they tend to sit around 300, 450. $500 is like expensive for a console.
And then 600 is the death of the PlayStation 3.
Yeah, well, and that was the problem with the Xbox One. It launched at 650, didn't it? No,
it was 500.
500, and it was $499, which is the same price they launched at with the Xbox One X. Yes, right, cool. Which means that it would have been $650 when it launched here, and I paid $550 for my PlayStation. And like at the end of the day, that's still a fuck ton for.
I paid $550 as well, but I also got like a second controller and.
I did not. I got mine day one.
So did I. Maybe it was $600, but I also got a second controller and.
Where'd you get yours?
JB.
Oh yeah, they probably would have done the one
and Killzone. Killzone's not a great game.
No. What I did was I bought Assassin's Creed Black Flag on PS4.
I did that before I got my PS4.
Yeah.
I'm just sitting there waiting for it.
Yeah, just same.
And my PS4 was dead on arrival.
Oh no. Yeah, mine was perfect, but like I just got the PlayStation. And honestly, I didn't touch it for 6 months. I played Black Flag on it, and then I just left it.
When I was finished with Black Flag, Infamous Second Son came out, so I'm like, yes, another game. I was playing a lot of Resogun.
Yeah, Resogun. Resogun I played a bit of.
I dicked around with the PlayStation Eye. That was another thing that came with that bundle.
Oh wow. Yeah, no, I was doing okay.
PlayStation
Like
camera. That's what it's called.
Yeah. And then I just let it sit, and it was about maybe even more like 9 months or a year before I actually started buying games for that system, and then playing games on that system, and then like. It took about 1.5 to 2 years before it became my primary gaming console.
I was feeling guilty there for a while because I moved out that year and I'm like, I have this cool bit of technology. I'm not playing anything. I'm playing my PS3 more than I'm playing it. And I'm like, and then I use it all the time. For
Now it is my primary console. Every game that comes out that's multi-platform, it's bought on the PS4 first. Everything runs through my PlayStation at my home. Like, that is my primary console. It just took a year or two to get there, which is what's going to happen on the next system as well. Like, people need to temper their expectations now. You're not going to get every fucking launch game ever. You're going to get about a dozen launch titles that are new. Most of them are going to suck because it's just the companies figuring out how to work the new hardware. And about 12 to 18 months after the launch, you'll get the games you need.
Yep.
Keep your PlayStation 4 around.
Oh, yeah, no.
Because you'll just play a bunch of stuff on that. There'll be a bunch of things that release both platforms. You'll be able to play it on the PS4. It'll be really good. Just keep it around. If you want to get a console day one launched, by all means go for it. But just be aware that like it's going to take 12 to 18 months for stuff to actually start to come out.
I'll probably get one just so I can have a 4K player.
I'll get one just because like at this point in my life I can.
Yeah.
Like disposable income is nice. So like being able to just be like, yeah, okay, cool. Like this thing's gonna happen. I'm gonna put my money down and I'm gonna pay it off gradually, and then I'm gonna have it on day. Because that's what I did with the PS4. Was that the second it was announced, I went down, I pre-ordered one, I put $50 on it, and then every couple of weeks I just went down and put more on it, and then it was all paid off, and I was like, sweet. So I will be here midnight the night of, and I was like second in line at my EB.
I remember the New York reveal event, and I was
man.
on my phone. Killing data, just
just draining it.
And I'm just like, just watching it when like Infamous Second Son was announced, because it was initially like, oh, that's cool, like, oh, but what if spy stuff and government shit, isn't it? And then it's like Second Son. I'm like, oh yeah, that's pretty cool. Infamous, I fucking shat. It's the best shit ever.
It was real good. Like, yeah, and I think Sony's gonna do fine. The funny thing about all of these leaks and all of this stuff is that like there's really been no talk about Xbox. Like Gears of War, I think, is on that list. It was a Gears of War 5. Forza Horizon 4. 5. I think that was it for exclusives for them.
Yeah.
And it's like, they're on there too. Like, they're all, any of the multi-platform games have an Xbox version as well. No one's talking about it, because just no one cares.
I think there will be a couple things, like... there'll be stuff that's not on that list that we'll see, like maybe the Avengers game. By Square Enix, Crystal Dynamics.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe we'll see... Oh, what's the other part? I lost it. I can't think of it no more. But yeah, no, we'll see a couple other games. Maybe through Microsoft, maybe not. Oh, Fable. I have a feeling we're prime for a Fable reveal.
We are prime for one. Whether we're going to get one or not, it's a totally different story.
In development. Who knows what type of Fable game it is.
Yeah, but here's the thing with Xbox, though, is that I don't trust them to... Sony has a bad track record of, like, announcing a game way too early and then it taking, like, 27 years to come out. Xbox has the other problem where they announce a game way too early and then they just kill it halfway through.
That is a very different issue, yes.
So, I don't want them to announce a thing unless they've got a solid release date. Because every time they announce something that doesn't have a solid release date, it just dies. So... I need them to have a solid release date.
New Fable, should be a launch title for the next Xbox. Like, how great would that be?
Yeah, but yes, it would be great, but they literally just launched the One X. It has only been 6 months.
I know, but it is a complementary, and then by the time Xbox, the next one, it'll be 2020. If we're working on the timeline that 2020 is when the next consoles will release. I still
think that's too early for Xbox to do a new console.
Maybe.
It's just because like I said, we are 6 months out from the X being released. 6 months.
Yeah.
They haven't got a damn thing for that system.
Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
I mean, that thing's gonna look gorgeous on it because the Tomb Raider engine looks great, but they have got this press conference this year better give us some exclusives that look fucking incredible on the X. It better give me a reason to want to go out and get an X rather than sit on the old version I've still got.
So you'd rather Fable be like a send-off, like a Halo 2 or a God of War 2 or a Last of Us situation where it's like, this is everything that this console could be, like in terms of graphics or gameplay or whatever, and like it looks beautiful, it runs beautifully.
No,
let's move on to the next one.
Not even. Like, I don't want Fable to be that. I want Fable to be a good game.
Just
the send-off or the tech demo needs to be Gears of War or Halo. Those are their send-off tech demo things. If you're going to launch a console, launch it with Halo, launch it with Gears. Use one of those two. And you can, because of the cycle they're on. I mean, I find it really odd that Gears of War 5 is going to, like, was on that list.
Yeah.
Given that Gears of War 4 only came out last year. Was it last year or the year before?
I think it's the year before.
Was it the year before? Was it really that long ago?
I think so, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I gotta check that because like
I'm pretty sure Gears is like
2016.
16. Yeah, that sounds right.
Gears.
Yeah, no one
that
was
does
talking
sound
about
right.
it last year.
That does sound right.
Um,
Yeah, on October 2016. Okay, so maybe that's not too far away, but still, that's only 2 years.
you know, I don't think Gears is going to be here.
Like, an announcement trailer, yeah, sure, but like it coming out this year, just seems so early.
Yeah, and Gears isn't on that development cycle.
No,
I think.
like I said, I feel like we're more leaning towards a Halo this year.
Yeah.
Like, if we don't get a Halo this year and we don't get a Gears, then I hope we get a Fable. I do. I hope we get a good Fable game.
Everyone.
But I don't want them to reduce Fable to a tech demo. Because the thing with the games that straddle the generation is that they always are. They're either too tech demo-y, like Rise, Son of Rome, which is like a gorgeous game, but like who gives a fuck?
Yeah. It's a QTE game.
Exactly.
In not a good way. Like, it's not an adventure game QTE, it's just a QTE game.
Yeah. But it's a gorgeous game, and it was definitely a showpiece for the Xbox One.
Yeah.
Like, it was the game that when it came out and the Xbox One and PS4 just launched, that was the game that actually made the Xbox more appealing.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, maybe I should have got an Xbox instead of a PlayStation, because PlayStation really doesn't have anything. Because it's either that, they're the tech demo-y ones, because at the time there was Killzone Shadowfall, which I think I played for like 10 minutes.
But at least that was a full game.
Yeah, true. But yeah, so it's that tech demo-y stuff where it's like, here, we just gave it to one of the side teams, we told them to put as much as they could into it. Or it's the games that straddle the generation, Assassin's Creed Black Flag, which like looks great, but you can tell is hindered by the fact that it needed to be developed for another system that was less powerful.
You know what I always think about? Well, not always. When I do think about it, it blows my mind. That Metal Gear Solid 5 is a cross-gen game.
Yeah, I know, right?
There's a PS3 version of it. There's a 360 version of that game.
Yeah, it's absurd. It's absurd.
I've never seen them run.
They're fine. They're fine. It's insane, but they're fine. Yeah, but that's the thing, is that, like, I don't want... And so when you get that straddling of the generation, you've got that thing where the developers will push the hardware... And it will do one of two things. It will either, one, the versions on the previous gen, which is the one that most people are going to have, are going to run like shit because they're designed for the other one that had to downscale it. Or the one on the new gen is going to look like shit because they've had to take the old one and upscale it, and it just doesn't quite work. And so you end up with this, like, weird... And that's why the first year of any console launch is kind of fumbly. Like, it's a little bit like, oh, we don't know what we're doing. If they're going to do a Fable on the next gen of consoles, then I want them to wait 2 years and release it properly.
No, fair enough.
Yeah.
I think we've talked about that enough. Do you want to talk about Nintendo?
Yeah, sure, why not?
Okay.
There's not much to say. I mean, it's an online service.
It is.
That's what they've announced.
It's a very cheap one compared to everything else.
$20 a year. Don't know what that is in... Do we know what that is in Oz yet?
Probably $30.
Yeah, probably.
Just add $10 to whatever
Usually,
America has to pay.
Yeah.
No, it's interesting. I don't know... Here's the thing, I don't have a Switch, so it's hard for me to actually comment on it. The only thing that I can discern from it is the release date for it, which is like
September.
People are thinking that's the Smash Brothers release date.
It would make sense.
Like,
because they were initially supposed to launch it last September.
Yeah.
That was what they were going to do.
That's true, yeah. What do you think of the Netflix-style NES? Able to play NES games through it?
Yeah, fine. Like,
right, there's no more...
There's nothing...
There's no more virtual console.
Who cares? Like, who cares? Like, there's nothing about the Switch announcement that surprises me.
Yeah,
nothing about
that's probably a good point. There's nothing surprising there.
Yeah. Like the Netflix style one, okay, cool. The only thing I would say is that if they rotate things in and out, like if I lose games in that service, that could be a problem.
Yeah.
I don't think they will, because they'll probably most likely be Nintendo first party stuff.
Yeah.
Or
I think
some
for the
games...
most part, like if you've got that downloaded, you'll keep it until like you can't probably re-download. It'll be like a PlayStation Plus thing.
Yeah, and it's again, it's fine. Like, it's super cheap. $20 a year is like nothing.
Yeah.
It's absolutely fine. They've even got that family plan thing, which is like $35.
And you can game the system out of it where you can like pay $5.
Well, we don't know the limitations on that one yet. Like, that's still a little bit ambiguous. It's probably going to be a bit more restrictive than that, knowing Nintendo. But for the most part, meh. The thing with it is, like, I don't know who who's gonna play it. Like,
If
who's
people who
gonna
want to play online, it'll be the Smash crowd. It'll be the
it'll be
Arms crowd.
Smash from
It'll be the
Splatoon.
Mario Kart 8 crowd.
Yeah.
It'll be Fortnite when that comes.
And here's the thing: none of those crowds are me.
Okay, you're not going to play Smash or Smash Online?
I'll play Smash, but not online.
Okay, cool.
Fuck off. Like, I'll.
That's the thing. I hope all of us have Switches by the time.
Yeah, absolutely. I will
Smash
grab
comes
my Switch. I will grab my mates. We'll all grab a Joy-Con each, and we will play the shit out of Smash Brothers. But I'm never going to play it online. I'm not a competitive player. I don't play Splatoon. Mario Kart's the same. I don't play it online. There's no online game on the Switch that actually makes me want to pay for this service.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to. End of story. Also, the voice chat thing's still going through the phone app, so fuck that. Like,
the Xbox original in 2001 had figured out voice, or 2002 rather, that's when Live launched. But
it's a nightmare.
it's 16 years old technology.
It baffles me that they can't. It baffles me that they made a console that is so fucking cool and so technologically advanced in terms of what it does. Like, little screen to the TV, all that stuff, the way the controllers sync, the Joy-Con, the motion, the HD rumble, all that shit, and they still fuck up the internet side of it. The one thing that does bug me about this is that they're taking the tact that Sony did, which is one of my pet peeves with Sony, is that your cloud saves are behind the paywall.
Yeah.
So, like, there's no way to transfer saves on a Switch. At all. There's one way to do it. And once you do it once, you're done.
Okay, then that's just a bad system, because Sony at least lets you copy it to USB for
Exactly.
free.
You can't do that. You can't transfer... If you transfer your saves from one Switch to another, it's one and done. If you lose that secondary Switch, gone.
That's fine.
So, like, now there's cloud saves, great, and I'm probably actually going to get it for the cloud save thing, like, in case I lose a Switch, or my Switch breaks, or I need to get it replaced under warranty, or whatever reason there is. I want to be able to transfer my save. So I'm probably going to buy that subscription for that, and that's bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, I shouldn't have to buy insurance for my save data. Yeah. Which is essentially what it is.
Yep. No, you're not wrong.
Other than that, the rest of the service is completely predictable and makes no sense. Why anyone would be angry with it. It's fine.
Yeah. No, I don't think many people... Have you seen people angry at it?
Yeah, I've seen some people angry at it. Because it's Nintendo fans. Because Nintendo has never had an online service before. So they're going to introduce it. It's like when PlayStation decided they wanted their, like, PS Plus to be their online, like... Yeah,
people cheered at E3 for that. They're like, we're going to make it, like, everyone pay for it. And we're like, yeah!
Yeah,
People
like, it was
like,
really
what?
weird. Because, like... Yeah, like, PlayStation Plus was always like, you know, you could play your games online for free, but the PS Plus was like special discounts and free games and like other bits and pieces and cloud saves and all that kind of stuff. And then they were like, actually, we're going to put the online behind the paywall as well.
But at least they
And
saved that
people
for
got
PS4.
Yeah.
Like, if they made the PS3 people pay for online, I think that's what would have pissed a lot of people off. But no, PS4 moving forward, this is the deal. And like for me, PS Plus, I had it for the free games.
Same.
And I'm like, oh, I'm going to keep it just to play online. I'm not playing online very often, but and even then, like the people who break the rules and get around it, like you can play Fortnite without a PS Plus account.
The Switch Online stuff is fine. I think it's a dumb name.
Oh, it's just
Nintendo Switch Online.
It should just be Nintendo Online or Nintendo Network. So people thought it was going to be. I can't remember. But it was a cool name.
Yeah, Nintendo Switch Online is just it's very Nintendo in that like it does what it says. Like that is what it is. It's a Nintendo Switch Online.
Which makes me worried that because it's not Nintendo Online, that it's going to be relegated to this once again. And when they release the next console, they'll have to get a new.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. Until they
need to hire an actual like internet service.
Well, I think that's part of the maybe. We'll see how this new president goes, because I feel like that might be something that he'll.
He's younger. He's more. He knows how to use the internet.
Yeah, he's grown up playing this stuff rather than making it all the time.
Yeah.
So there's obviously certain conveniences and quality of life things that he will understand that hopefully he can bring to the company. We'll see how that goes. But for the most part, and it's also Nintendo had their whole E3 lineup leaked.
Did they?
Yeah, you didn't see it?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay, so it's possibly just a debunked rumor type thing, but there was a post on GamerFAQs.
Okay.
By a user, I think it was a Reddit user.
Yep.
Essentially, the very top of the post was like this little breakdown thing that was just like, hey, I know such and such that works at Nintendo, blah 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 blah, all that kind of stuff. And the thing that gave it credibility was at the start of the post said, Nintendo will be talking about their online service on May the 7th, which is the exact date that they did start talking about it. And this post was from like months ago. Yeah. Or not months ago, but like a couple of weeks ago. So that was how it started, and then from there, it literally went minute by minute and broke down Nintendo's Spotlight presentation. And it was like, They start with... what do they start with? Start with Smash. Smash was the focus.
Makes sense.
Then move on to, like, some new Splatoon content. Metroid Prime 4 was shown for a little bit. There was, like, a couple of other little bits and pieces. One thing that was interesting was that there was no 3DS on that
Interesting.
on that E3 spotlight thing. They specifically mentioned that the 3DS, like in that little post, the 3DS would be saved for the Treehouse afterwards.
Okay.
So, like, it's going to be there, but the actual E3 presentation is all Switch. It's like 16 Switch titles or something like that.
Was Pokemon on that list?
It was.
What's the other game showed that? I think that was it. I was going to ask, does Metroid Prime 4 close the show, but...
No. It looked like it was... I wish I could find it again, because it's like basically a week after it... A couple of days after it went up and everyone started looking at it, it got taken down.
Okay.
So, like, it's hard to find again.
Yeah.
There's screenshots, but I couldn't find it. But I'm pretty sure it started with Smash and ended with Smash. Like, it was bookended by Smash.
Yeah. I'm always worried when they do that, because Days Gone did that once. I'm like, I don't know.
I think it started, because he didn't even, it wasn't just like, oh, it starts with Smash, then the next thing. It was like, starts with Smash, and then he had like a detailed description of what happened. And I'm pretty sure the start was just like, it's Smash, it gives us like a look at the gameplay and a look at everything else. And then the end was like, oh, a new character is revealed. It's like the end of it. And I was like, okay, cool, that's a good way to bookend. Like, you start with the gameplay, you tell us that's a new thing, and then at the end you give us a new character.
Do you remember the second to last game? Because I have a feeling, if that game is of anything of significance, that'll be the character that gets introduced. Unless it's just another, like, Power Lord.
I think it might have been a Fire Emblem game.
Oh, fuck. No!
I can't remember.
Oh. See, again, wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Fire Emblem. Yeah, fucking Fire Emblem people are coming up to...
Like, honestly, like, the whole thing blurred because the thing that got me was the Pokemon thing, and it kind of annoyed me.
What's that?
The thing that... The listing that this
blurb.
guy had, said that was a Kanto remake. And I almost flipped a table. I was like, come on, guys, are you serious? He did say that the graphics look somewhere between Sun and Moon and Pokken Tournament, so maybe it'll look cool. But essentially a retelling of the Kanto story.
We'll see. Maybe it will be great. Or maybe it's not that at all. Or maybe it's everything. Who's to say?
Yeah, who says? Yeah. So it was a really weird thing. I'm sure there's photos of it out there somewhere, but like if you can find it, have a look at it, because like it is a full breakdown. And I'll be interested to see whether or not, because I know one year Xbox had their full breakdown leaked, and when it got to the press conference, they chopped and changed a few things just to keep it fresh. So like. Because I was watching a thing and one of the dudes, I was watching the Giant Bomb one, and Jeff Gersman was like, so this was the rundown, this is exactly what they said, and as he was watching it, he was like, cool, this was on the page, oh, this is different, oh, okay, cool, they like bumped it back 4 spots just to like mess everyone up. So I wouldn't be surprised, if they did that. I also wouldn't be surprised if Nintendo didn't give a fuck. Yeah. Because they're Nintendo, and they're like, yeah, you're gonna buy our shit anyway. Yeah. How long have we been going on this one?
I don't know, quite a while. An hour 10.
Yeah, we could probably leave it there.
Yeah.
I wanted to have a chat about loot boxes, but I feel like that's a whole thing in and of itself.
Yeah.
We could probably go for like an hour on its own, so I might leave that till next week. We'll see how the gaming industry does news-wise next week. Yeah. There could be nothing, because honestly...
There could be nothing, there could be...
Everything, but we'll see how we go. I mean, the other thing is, like, the loot box discussion, it's ever-changing and ever-growing, and I feel like... By the time we actually get a chance to talk about it, I feel like more news will be around about it, rather than a couple of weeks old news from Europe. So we can have a look at it. Anything else you want to touch on before we?
I have something about Steam. You can play Steam games on your phone if it's running through the computer, which is interesting. But
oh yeah, the Steam app from iOS, like it's interesting, but I see zero use case for it.
Yeah. You can just use
Steam's just throwing shit at the wall now, aren't they? They're just trying stuff.
They have the money to do it, so why not?
Yeah,
they're making games.
Feels like Valve.
They're just like they're sitting on money. Like we should do something.
Yeah,
like this.
Valve has just dropped all their money into R&D, which is great.
That's good. They should do something.
They should make a game.
Oh, they got Campo Santo now. You can make Into the Valley of Kings with pyramids and
in the Valley of Gods.
Valley of Gods. I said Kings, my bad.
I'm looking forward to that game.
Yes,
I hope that's at E3. It's not going to be.
It'll...
They do that PC show that no one remembers or no one ever checks.
Because it's always on when another show is on.
Yeah. Because, like, XCOM 2 got announced there one year. And everyone was
Is
like,
it
XCOM 2! And I was like, yeah, like, well, in retrospect, it's not that great. But, like, for that game to be announced at a press conference that no one gave a fuck about, that kind of sucks. Ah, well.
I wish I played XCOM 2.
Yeah. Anyway, I think we'll wrap it up there.
Wrap it up like a burrito.
Yeah, remember to check out the Amalgam Show, where we talk about pop culture and other things we care about. We'll see what happens on that one. If you do have any questions, comment below or email us at amalgamshow@gmail.com. Remember to like, share, subscribe, comment, notification bell, always on. Oh, man. Stop, YouTube. Just stop.
What I want to do is just to film a bumper where we don't have to say this shit anymore.
Yeah, let's do that. That's a really good idea. So then I don't have to do a damn thing. Just an end title card.
And then we just hang up and then...
end title card. That'd be great. That'd be great.
We need time.
We need to.
If you could donate us time, that would be great.
Donate an hour on Patreon.
Fuck. Just time, not even money, just time. That's all we want at the moment.
Alright.
Can you give us a time stone? That'd be nice.
Yeah, that'd be great. Alright, well, we will catch you next week then.
Bye.
Bye.